Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Masjid Muhammad's third Sunday Taaleem. Today we have the pleasure of presenting our youth and young adults. Today we have young brothers Kamal,
Assalamu
Khalil,
alaikum.
Assalamu
and
alaikum.
brother Khalil Ahmed. So without further
Today we are
ado,
talking
I
about
present to you
how to.
I'm sorry. So without further ado,
Okay.
I present to you our young, upcoming brothers and leaders of our future, Kamal Khalil and Khalil Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. All right, Khalil, you can introduce us now.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Khalil Ahmed. Um, um, I'm with.
Oh, yeah. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Kamal Khalil.
I'm 18 and or I'm 19. I can't believe I forgot that. Today we're talking about how to deal with isolation as a young adult. I'm gonna read off a surah that I'm gonna read off this surah right here. It's gonna be Ad Ad-Duha. It's gonna be Surah 93, verses 1 through 11. What an example we have. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. What an example we have in the Prophet's life. When moments of inspiration, were still his soul, yet felt in power of that stillness, like one who prays at night and waits for the dawn. Knowing that light grows brighter for the dawn every hour till noon, and well content that night and the morn and the hours succeeding are but steps to the plenary splendor of noon. He was content and consoled in the thought that God had bestowed his loving care on him and in his past, and so his future was sure. He followed the light divine to help the helpless and attend the patients to the call of those in need, and to rehearse and proclaim and share of the boundless bounties of God. Now, the reason why I chose Aduha for the subject of being isolated, it's just to help us remind us that when we're feeling isolated with ourselves and we're feeling depressed and we're feeling down, to remind us of the boundless bounties of God that He has given us and provided with us, and how we are sometimes more fortunate than others, and we need to remind ourselves of that. I was dealing with being isolated for a while, and I didn't notice it until later on, or really today, in fact. And I'm glad that I was able to get this chance to even talk about it, and I'm glad to even have this opportunity to share with you all that dealing with that isolation that you put yourself through when you're just starting off as a young adult can really change you to shutting off people to the ones that you love and people who are important to you, and being afraid to make connections that are needed for us to be sound. And one connection that should always be there is the one with Allah. I found myself becoming isolated when I didn't give as much time as I didn't give as much time to Allah and trying to establish that connection. For me, once I stopped like praying and stopped checking or reading the Quran, I became lost in my work. I became unmotivated. I complained about everything. I didn't want to do like simple chores my mom asked me to. I wasn't grateful. And I stopped appreciating the things that were giving to me, even though I was blessed as being a 19-year-old with a good job and everything like that. So what happened to me, I stepped back from my job. I took time and spent time with my family and the loved ones that I needed. But I didn't appreciate that either. And I was still feeling isolated, even though I just abruptly quit my job and I abruptly stopped praying. I abruptly stopped talking to anyone. I just shut myself out without knowing that it would affect my mental state. And it was hard. It was hard, and it still is hard trying to figure out where you're placed in this world as a young man. Um, I was fortunate enough today to ask my brother Karib for advice because I set goals for myself. I said, make prayer every day. Do 100 push-ups at least today. Eat healthy, work out today. Be grateful and strive to be better. And I tried to set those goals for myself, and I even slacked off on that. So um, I called my mom today, and she. Sorry, I'm getting off topic. Anyways, for for me, how I dealt with that, I was open to myself. I allowed myself to speak upon it, and that is something that takes courage to do because you believe that as a young man, you don't want yourself to bother other people with your problems or with your issues that you think are no big deal, but that is a big deal. It's a big deal to you and how you perceive yourself, how you perceive yourself to be in that state of mind, which is at peace.
Yeah, and I think I just wanted to say that I think yeah, like stepping up and having like some self-awareness is super important, especially nowadays because a lot of people are like really just caught up in their own world. Either they're caught up in their own world or they're caught up in someone else's world, and they just have a sheep mindset. They just agree with everyone else they're around. So yeah, I think being self-aware and realizing when you're not in a good spot and asking other people for help is yeah, like you said, that's a really good first step, and it takes a lot of courage. I've experienced that myself, to be honest.
And it's really difficult to be able to see that because people might not give you the time of day all the time, and they might think you're just fine because you put on that act that you're fine. So it's really important for you to reach out to people when you're feeling some type of way. Um, One way that I dealt with it was just calling my brother, and I didn't. I wanted to call. I wanted to call someone because I felt like I needed to talk, and I got to that point by just listening to people around me. Um, and I, the first thing I did before I even called my brother, I made prayer, and I made prayer, and I ended up crying right after because I couldn't deal with it. I had to do something now. I couldn't deal with the pressure anymore. I couldn't deal with being alone and not talking to anyone. And humans and people are social creatures. Like we need social interaction for us to survive as a community or survive as a species. You need people to be able to express themselves. And one way to do that for me that helped was um, one way that helped me realize to get out of that situation was watching other people do it and watching other people achieve things that they believed that was important to them. Like one example was my brother. He had a game yesterday and he lost. It's unfortunate, but to see him pick himself up the next day, working, still striving for his goals, still striving for his excellence, even though he's far off in a college in West Virginia, away from all of his family. He's able to push past that and use that as motivation to, like, look, I have people at home who are cheering me on. I have people who are home and are proud of me. Let me pick myself up and let me handle that.
Yeah, and I was gonna say another key to that. Yeah, family's very important, but I think another key to not feeling isolated and being able to pick yourself up is also having the right friends. Like you could have like a lot of friends, but y'all could just be talking about the same stuff every day, and y'all will never be able to have like a meaningful conversation about y'all's goals or whatever. Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like if you have the same conversation with the same people every day, then you won't have the courage to talk to them about something that's deeper about how you're feeling every day, and then you'll feel like they won't be there when you even if they would be there if you fell down and they'll be able to pick you up. You won't feel like that because you're so used to talking about the same stuff that has no relation to how you're feeling. If that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. So I think picking not just like a lot of friends, but you could just have like one or two or three friends. Having a lot of friends is not really. I mean, that could work, but it's better if you have like key friends to help you. When you're having a bad situation.
Yeah, I actually called Kamal to do this talk with me because I feel like if I did it alone, I would be stuttering and everything like that. But it's good to call my brother, my brother Kamal, for us to support each other when we're in times of need. And having that type of a brotherhood and that connection, it's 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 more important than it's as important as your goals for yourself, because having that connection makes shit feels like you're not isolated and alone. And that's something that I believe that we all feel that we're afraid of, just being alone. And that is scary. That is very scary. And me trying to handle it all by myself and handle it how I can really put me in a place where I couldn't see anything clearly. Everything was blurred. I didn't have a path for myself. I didn't have a vision for myself. And I feel like talking about it and talking to other people and talking to people that you just reaching out. You might not even know who will actually help you. Because I didn't believe none of my family members ever checked up on me, and I didn't believe nobody ever checked up on me. If I didn't say anything, they wouldn't have helped. They wouldn't have said, "Oh, I'm proud of you, Khalil, for all the achievements you've been doing. I hear great things about you, and I want you to keep it up and keep your head up because we're all here for you." If you don't make that speech, if you don't have that open conversation with yourself and having that and being able to share it with other people or share it to someone that you trust, that leaves you in a place where you're just dark and alone, and you do not want to be in that place. That is very, very bad to be.
Yeah.
It keeps your mind idle. And my dad used to always say, "An idle mind is the devil's workshop." And it makes you do things that hurt your people around you and hurt yourself in the same process, just because you're not willing to express yourself. And suppressing those emotions and suppressing that that feeling to ask for help makes
The
you even
pressure,
makes
suppressing the pressure.
yeah, it makes you feel even more lost than you already was. So for me, I just want to be able to spread the message of being able to talk to someone else, or even be able to talk to Allah in your daily prayers. It keeps you focused. It keeps you focused on the positive, not just overwhelming yourself and thinking negative thoughts all the time. And yeah, that's right.
No, and then another thing, uh, but yeah, you kind of touched on it. But I would say, so like when you're in those moments and you feel a lot of pressure, don't look at it as a bad thing. Look at it as, because the thing that I'm pretty sure it was in the Quran, like right, anytime like you're going through an issue, like when it's at its peak, that means you're about to break through and you're about to get to another level of achievement in your life. So I think looking at pressure as not necessarily a good thing, because it can be hard when you're in that situation, but looking at it as like it's only going to make me stronger, and it's a test from Allah. And Allah says in the Quran, He only puts His strongest warriors with the worst problems, because He
Mm.
knows that you can handle it. If He didn't think you could handle the problem, He wouldn't have given it to you. So yeah, I think looking at pressure as more of like a neutral thing than a super negative thing is also super important when you're going through, isolation or just any problem, to be honest.
Mm. And finding things to do that you love, like finding fun
Yeah.
things,
hmm
um
I was gonna say that too.
that can help you get out of a place where you don't feel as alone. Doing something, activities with others, or just something that you like to do. I like to play basketball,
hmm
and I hoop at the gym, and I try to challenge whoever's over there on a 1v1, like try to make me better. But
I
it
just want to
was
say one thing real quick.
yeah.
Like when you're looking at hobbies, try not to think of hobbies that require you to be in the house, because another issue. A lot of people our age, when coronavirus started happening, their whole life pretty much shut down. They didn't know what to do. So I think like trying to do stuff outside the house, like getting fresh air, is super important. Like playing video games it's a hobby, but that should not be a hobby you should turn to when you're feeling isolated. That's probably like one of the worst things you could do is play a whole bunch of video games and stuff. I mean, Khalil can tell you too, because I've heard him
Yeah.
talk about this before as well. But like playing video games, be on your computer, be on your phone, that is not a hobby. Go outside and do something. Like move your body, do something besides that.
Yeah, that, and being isolated can even suppress that to wanting to go outside, to saying, "Oh, no one's out there for me. No one's out there looking for me. There's no
hmm
new experiences that I feel that I can do myself." Like, you don't have the courage to go outside just because who's waiting out there for you? There's nobody waiting out there for you. Nobody contacted you before. So why would you go outside? If you have those type of thoughts going through your head every day, and you keep suppressing that, and you keep suppressing the urge to interact with people, it only digs yourself deeper. You're digging your own hole, trying to figure out how to get up. um if that makes sense.
It's like
But
quicksand.
yeah, so what I say to you is talk to Allah, have a communication with Allah, make that daily reminder and prayer that, okay, He's there for me, I'm not alone in this world. And also talk to someone, anybody who's willing to listen, and share yourself, and allow yourself to be vulnerable, because people are growing up to be hard and coarse, and being hard and coarse is just it's just not good for your soul. Honestly,
Yeah, yeah.
it's just not good for your soul.
Because I
And
feel like when you're hard in your course, like your mind also closes up too, and you're not open to learning new things or meeting new people. So yeah, being vulnerable is a big part too.
but just being able to have someone to talk to, I feel like that is like, if you're in a, like, getting married, that's one of your what's one of the requirements for your spouse, just being there to openly talk to you. And people, it's rare to find that, um if you don't open yourself. It's very rare to find that if someone just doesn't reach out to you. And that's what I've been dealing with. I've been trying to deal with all my issues myself, and I haven't really been reaching out to anybody. I've just been closing myself off and not talking to anybody about any of my issues. And that made me just, I would go to somewhere, like I'll go to my family's house, I'll hang out with them, but then after everything's done, I'll just go home and I'll be
Yep.
in that closed bubble. And people like, okay, yeah, I might feel safe in my closed bubble and I don't really need anybody knowing about my business. But once you close yourself up like that, once you close yourself up like that, I'm saying like everything over and over again. It's just have a relationship with either law or with somebody or someone who would listen. Like have an open relationship with somebody.
And
Be
then
open to somebody.
yeah, and then one key. Okay, so cause I went to Juma on Friday at Masjid, the Mercy Masjid, and I was listening to Brother Abdullah his Juma. He was saying, I remember him saying one point that like when you talk to Allah, talk to him as if you're talking to a real person. That helps a lot. Like don't look at Allah as like some unreachable source, some unreachable orb. Think about Allah as like someone that you can like you said like turn to and talk to on a daily basis. Because if you look at him like he's untouchable or like you can't talk to him, it'll be like you're talking to a brick wall and you won't go anywhere. So talk to Allah like you're having a real conversation. People will look at you like you're crazy because it'll look like you're talking to yourself, but it doesn't really matter. Just talk to him like you're talking to a real person, pretty much.
My brother said Allah is closer than your jugular vein. So, and that's the vein that connects your heart to your brain. And that right there is one of the truest statements because you can find faith just believing in Allah. Then you can put faith in anybody that you think it's like an idol to you. Like, and that's been a a thing taught. That's the whole reason for religion, just having faith in believing that you're not alone, because we all have to go through hardships and strifes, and concealing yourself and all that, thinking that you're the only one dealing with this and you're the only one that can relate to your own feelings because you're the only one having them, that just isolates you. And that's what I'm trying to talk about right now, because I am still dealing with isolation and trying to change myself to express myself more. And being able to even do this and talking on live to talk about it's helping me see things more clearly, and because I'm able to talk about it. And I just want to be able to help anybody in that situation as well, because I know how it feels. I know how it feels to, even though I grew up in a big family and in a big environment where I have 9-10 other brothers, and I have a person to talk to like Kamal. I shut myself off because me growing up, I believe that we had to do everything and support ourselves as a man. So, and that's what we were taught. Yes, and we are supposed to take care of our responsibilities for our family, but we need to have that relationship. And I think that's really the most important things about community and talking to each other and being able to relate to each other. And that's what I wanted to say. Another good things that I would like to discuss is like do we already go over hobbies? We already went over hobbies.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Isolation.
We can just open up for questions if you want.
Yeah,
You don't really have to talk.
We can't open up questions. That's right. Sorry, I was just.
No, you're good, man. You good. Sister Latifah still on here?
Let me see if I can look at the chat. I can't really hear.
Yes, I'm here, brothers. I'm here.
Okay. All right.
So alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So, as I understood,
I tried to find the surah, but
she's about to ask us questions.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. I know you can't hear her, so I'll just tell her, like whenever she says something, I'll just tell you what she said.
Yeah, you can start off just reading the questions.
Okay, so we don't really have any questions in the chat, just lots of fire and hearts and knowledge. And I just want to say, right now, I just appreciate the both of you, with your openness, your honesty, your transparency, and as you all like to say, keeping it real. Just keeping it real and just putting it out there. You know what I mean? And you don't know how many people that you may be touching, that you touch directly and indirectly, again, with your honesty and transparency and keeping it real. So
She's just basically saying she's thanking us for like being transparent and honest, and she said, as we say, keeping it real with the audience because it takes a lot of courage to do that. That's basically what she said.
yes, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. All right. So I guess in wrapping up, if you all are ready, I guess the first step, and you all can correct me if I'm wrong. The first step, as Khalil Ahmed spoke, is realizing that there is isolation or that you're feeling isolated. And of course, communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, prayer, dua. Another step I think was mentioned was talking to someone, reaching out to someone, and being open, getting outside feedback. I think you also said allowing yourself to be vulnerable and not hard because it's not good for the soul. So did I kind of paraphrase?
Yeah. So Khalil, she basically she's reiterating what you talked about. She's saying it's good how we talked about being vulnerable, turning to Allah, and the first step is realizing what the situation you're in.
Yeah, so is she still talking?
No. She was just like it wasn't really a question. She was just reiterating what we were saying. She's just repeating what we were saying. And also she said there's not really any questions.
Okay.
No one's really asking us questions, so
Yeah, no questions have come up just yet.
I would just say the message for today is reach out. Do not conceal all your feelings and bottle them all up because they will one day explode on you in a bad situation, in a bad way. Then you deal with them, facing them yourself, and that can be challenging and that can be hard. And you might, it's really a big deal for us to be able to express ourselves because right now, having a community and having me able to talk to you like this, Kamal, it's one of the things I actually do really appreciate, and I really do. I'm really appreciative for that. Being able to have that type of situation where I can put myself in, or I'm able to express myself in, and I think that's the reason why we have these taleems about young adults, so be able to express ourselves in these situations, and I would say my advice is just to reach out to somebody. And that's pretty much it.
all right.
We can end off with a dua as well. You want to just
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
All right. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil
alamin. My bad. Is it like lagging?
Yeah. No, it's just like, I mean, it's kind of distracting.
All right, you're fine.
All right. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Ameen.
Ameen. So again, brothers, we thank you again. Please, we thank you for your transparency, your openness, your vulnerability, and just being you. You're our future leaders, and we just love you. We just love you. We just love you.
Thank you.
So thank you again for your presentation. Inshallah, you brothers hold on to each other. Be there for each other, and reach out, and don't be afraid to to communicate and be open, as you all said. Just that makes you strong, not weak. So alhamdulillah, we make dua for the both of you and our entire community. And again, we thank you for your presentation today. May Allah continue to bless you and reward you.
Yeah. No problem. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Wa alaikum assalam. So please stay tuned for our community announcements. Our virtual khutbah is held every Friday at 1:30 p.m., live streamed on our Facebook and YouTube pages. Please join us. Our virtual khutbah will be led by Imam Dr. Wazir Ali or someone from the Office of Imams. Our in-person Jummah is also held at masjidwdm Muhammad here in Houston. Our Jummah time starts at 1:30 p.m., and you may register at the link shown on the screen. Masjidwdm Muhammad invites you to make a donation, and it's so easy to donate. We're asking 100 believers to donate $50 a month. That just comes out to $1.66 per day. Please scan the QR code to get started. In-person Jummah is also available at Mercy Community Center at 1:30, 2:10, and 2:50. Please register at the link shown on the screen, and please follow the mandatory guidelines. Masjid Al-Quran or Mercy Community Center also asks that you donate to Merciful 313. Please snap the QR code to get started. Ta'aleem and public address is held every Sunday, and as just presented, it was our Youth and Young Adult Sunday. Next Sunday, please join us for Al-Mizan Sunday, whereby a sister will lead the Ta'aleem at 1:30 p.m. Your zakat and donations are always graciously needed. There are various ways to donate to help us continue to present programs as shown, our outreach efforts. Mercy Community Center also needs your zakat and donations. You may donate at the link shown on the screen, MercyCC.org/donation. Muslima Nights is an event for Muslim sisters ages 13 to 30. If you are interested, please join at one of the links shown on the screen. This event is Sunday at 5:30 p.m. New Muslim Orientation class occurs on Sunday at 3 p.m. To join, go to tiny.cc/New Muslim class. It is led by Imam Elijah Salahuddin. Our Sisters Halakha is held every second and fourth Saturday from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. This is a sisters only event. Please email salimacogbill@gmail.com to gain access. Our brothers meeting is held every third Saturday from 7 to 9 a.m. and this is a brothers only event. Please go to tinyurl.com/WDM Brothers. Our fundraising donor wall continues and is ongoing for the Imam Ibrahim Kamaluddin Community Center. Please go to tinyurl.com/MWDM donor wall for additional information. As always, we thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time to be with us. Please like and or subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages. And we, inshallah, you will join us next week for Jummah on Friday, beginning at 1:30. And then again on Sunday for our Ta'aleem, Al-Mizan Sunday at 1:30 as well. May Allah protect us all and have mercy on our soul. Assalamu alaikum.